Coming up in this package, a call on all Ghanaians to make water conservation a priority.
Forestry Commission engages corporate bodies on zero emissions.
Also in this bulletin, people of Apiate to be temporarily resettled at Todumasi before the onset of the rains.
2 persons jailed 50 years for robbery.
And lawmakers in Mali unanimously approved the military junta to rule for 5 years. Good evening and welcome to GTV and GBC News for News Hour. We're also live on DSTV channel 278. My name is Clara Mlano.
Good evening. I am Shirley Annan. Robert Frimpong will translate the news into sign language. The Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Madam Cecilia Dapa, has advised Ghanaians to conserve water, especially during the dry season. The advice came when she inspected the Ghana Water Company's treatment plants at Nsawam, Edwejuri in the eastern region and Weja in the Ghana South municipality of the Greater Accra region, respectively.
Level in the Ghana Water Company's treatment plant at Nsawam Adwejuri is 4.8 cubic feet, which is a normal level. However, the Densu River, which feeds the treatment plant, has dried up to its minimum level since the dry season started. Management of the water company says the water level improved from 1.3 to 2.4 cubic feet from February 14, 2022. The Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, Madam Cecilia Dapa, was concerned about the activities of some sand winners and farmers who block the river at certain points and redirect it to water their farms, a situation which has had an adverse effect on the treatment plant. Similar activities are also taking place at the Weja Dam. The minister cautioned the perpetrators to desist from the act or face the full rigors of the law.
If they continue to do that, there won't even be land for us to expand. I will not sit down for that to happen before we take any action. So we are going back to the drawing board. We've seen things for ourselves, and very soon we'll come out with what deterrent measures to be put in place. But immediately, all trucks going up there must be stopped.
However, the Ghana Water Company has asked the private developer, Mr. Aikens Efumafo, who said he is constructing the road linking Weja to the Agape Down, to stop work. But Mr. Aikens Efumafo said because of his business, he has duly secured authorization from the Weja Municipal Assembly to carry out his activities and wondered why he is being interrupted. According to him, the managing director of the Ghana Water Company, Dr. Clifford A. Brima, is aware of the activities at the site. But Dr. Brima denied knowledge about that.
We are bringing a letter to the MD, bring 2 letters. They receive one for the MD and put a number on it and receive another as received copy. If somebody tells you he has copied the MD, he has no copy to give you other than the stamped copy with the MD's office stamp. If they don't provide it to you, it's a fake letter.
Madam Cecilia Dapa subsequently asked trucks working for the private developer to discharge their load immediately. The Weja Dam alone serves 1.5 million people in the Greater Accra region. The minister said rehabilitation and expansion works would be carried out at the site as soon as funds were secured.
The Forestry Commission is seeking support from corporate bodies to cut carbon emissions production in the country and to increase the country's forest cover. At an MOU signing ceremony between the Forestry Commission and Talu Ghana to set in motion Talu's zero emissions agenda, the chief executive of the commission says such partnerships will help Ghana achieve the targets set out to tackle her climate change challenges.
From countries and companies to individuals, tackling climate change remains top of the agenda in the past 10 years. It's widely recognized by scientists and governments that climate change is being triggered by higher levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. At COP26, Ghana resolved to work with corporate bodies in the country to cut emissions among industries and to reduce the impact of climate change in the country. The Memorandum of Understanding between the Forestry Commission and Tallow Ghana is to enhance the conservation of existing forests and increase forest stocks in line with Ghana's reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation strategy, REDD+. This will help the Forestry Commission to identify and develop carbon offset projects that will support both the realization of Tallow's 2030 net zero plans and the government of Ghana's nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. The Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Mr. John Alote, said the agreement is the right step to reduce climate change challenges.
It's very important if you look at the discussions going on around the world to be able to reverse the trend so far as climate change impacts are concerned. This is one area, the forest area, is able to use nature-based solutions to be able to reduce emissions. And as I said, the Forestry Commission already has a strategy in place, which we have a five-pronged strategy. We are looking at the cocoa landscape, we are looking at the shale landscape, we are looking at the transitional zone, the coastal mangrove, and then the Togo Plateau.
The Deputy Managing Director of Tallow Ghana, Mrs. Cynthia Lumo, said her outfit will invest the needed funding to cut emissions by 2030.
We are spending about $37 million to expand our gas capacity so that we eliminate flaring basically by the year 2025. And then as we work at identifying the projects and determine what to do, we will then know exactly how much we'll spend in the carbon offset area.
The two entities are optimistic that the active collaboration will not only help build a low-carbon future, but will create alternative economic opportunities for communities within the identified project zones.
The chairperson of the National Commission on Civic Education, NCCE, Ms. Josephine Nkrumah, has been appointed as ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia, and as part of the formalities, she has presented her letter of resignation as chair of NCCE to President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House in Accra.
A few weeks ago, I came to see you about an offer with ECOWAS. I sought your blessings before I made a final decision on whether or not I take up that offer. You graciously gave me some wise words and asked me if I thought through what the decision I was going to make, and I said yes. Following that conversation, certain processes have gone on, and as we speak, I just offered my letter of acceptance to ECOWAS to be the ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia with a duty post in Monrovia. As the father of the land, as the appointing authority, I deem it necessary to come and see you and officially tender in my resignation, which will take effect on the 30th of April.
President Akufo-Addo lauded the outgoing chair of the National Commission on Civic Education, NCCE, for distinguishing herself for the past 5 years.
We've been together here for the last 5 years and seeing the quality of the work that you have done. I have no doubt that this is a job you're going to go and do and bring credit to yourself and to us, your country, Ghana. So I have to wish you the very best of luck. You're taking it up at a time when I am also the chair of ECOWAS. So both of us are carrying the country on our shoulders at this time, very much so. But I want to wish you the very best of luck.
Until her appointment as chair of the NCC in 2016, Ms. Josephine Nkrumah was the deputy NCC chair in charge of finance and administration. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.
Government is to temporarily relocate the people of Apiate to Dumasi before the rains set in. This has become necessary as the current abode of the people who are living in tents cannot withstand a rainy weather. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapor, and the Apiate Reconstruction Committee visited the place.
The temporary resettlement site was initially being constructed to relocate the Dumasi town. Structures at the place are yet to be completed to settle the displaced people. Having taken over the facility, government is to see to the completion of the project with roofing, furniture and fittings, roads, water and electricity, among others. With this, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapor, said some building materials donated would be used to complete the structures for the people before the rains come. The minister responded to the question of whether work on the proposed green and sustainable community would begin soon and whether there would be equity, fairness and justice in the allocations.
Resettlement sebi enye pretty mindful die obi ani ho a yede ne ba akotena ho a ebetima akobase saa dan yede na akotena mu no ababeda ne die ana ya chenanko ye beka se yesi ye kuro no wie nti ye mfi ha ne enkotena ye kuro ni ma na eno abaye manso da bi edan no eye FGR 4 die e ba bi asebi mo betimi di muti ato enmenim ya ensuo meham ana se enkofa yareboni ana se hawbi amremo. According
to the Apiate Reconstruction Committee, the Dumasi resettlement site can accommodate about 800 displaced people.
Mobetimi every insuo yimu ewo tent ni mu no akomu ansana yesi edan no a omampanyin si yentetere yesi ekrona omampanyin si yentetere mamono.
The chief of Apiate, Nanakwejo Bremibi, thanked government for the efforts so far to lessen the burden on the people. Work on the Dumasi settlement begins on Monday, February 28, with support from Tropical Cables, the Forestry Commission and others.
A 2021 population and housing census has shown that females and the youth between the ages of 15 and 24 years are the hardest hit by the country's unemployment situation. Generally, Ghana's unemployment rate is projected to trend around 4.40% in 2022 and 4.40% in 2023. The government statistician, Professor Samuel Eni, spoke to GBC News in an earlier bulletin.
From an optimistic point of view, yes, we expect to see that those who are laid off have regained their jobs, and also the other employment indicators that we did put out there would have seen full recovery. But let me again emphasize the fact that the recovery that we are seeing is mainly with small-size firms. We are yet to see evidence with medium and large firms and also with micro firms. So although we see that firms have recovered to the tune of 11.5% increase in their sales, this is mainly driven by the 22 percentage point increase for small-size firms. So as I indicated, this distribution of this recovery is not across all the firms, and one would have to be careful in interpreting that, in interpreting the observation that recovery cuts across all the firms that we have in the country. We also need to keep in mind that we still have about 14,000 firms that indicate that as a result of the pandemic, they are permanently closed. although this number has reduced significantly over time. I mean, during the pandemic, we had only 73.5% of firms that were working. This figure inched up to 95.7 during the third wave, which is data that we collected in September 2021, indicating that we still have some firms that are permanently closed. These are the firms that, from a policy perspective, we need to follow and ensure that they recover, they open up in other dimensions.
You're still watching News Live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. A presidential advisor to the government, Mr. Yao Safumafo, says although there is a global community's confidence in Ghana's anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorists in the region, there is an urgent need for a concerted effort to stop the flow of illicit finance within Ghana and the African continent. Addressing the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering, the 6th Technical Commission Plenary and Ministerial Committee meeting, the presidential advisor called on member states to support the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa and the global fight against money laundering to help create a better future for citizens.
I want to assure you that we have since maintained the momentum in an action plan to sustain the progress that is currently under implementation. Indeed, it is our area I have personally taken keen interest in, and my government is very much committed to ensuring that the Ghanaian economy is neither abused for money laundering and terrorist financing activities, nor used as a conduit for these activities within the global community. We are also available to, among others, assist other sister countries in the sub-region and beyond in their bid to strengthen their anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism.
The paramount chief of the Teshiman traditional area in the Bono East region, Osadeyo Ekumfiameyao, has appealed to Yoko to collaborate with the Financial Intelligence Center, Bank of Ghana, National Security and National Communication Authority to check the Ponzi schemes in financial markets which have caused considerable financial loss to many. He said the collapse of Men's Goat, DKM, among others, is another episode in the ebb and flow of Ponzi schemes in Ghana. The paramount chief was interacting with the executive director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, COP Mamiyatiwa Adudankwa, and her entourage on a working visit to the Bono East region.
Scope of Economic and Organized Crime Office covers issues of financial or economic loss to the Republic or any state entity or institution in which the state has financial interest, money laundering, human trafficking, prohibited cyber activity, tax fraud, and other serious offenses. The Yoko boss, COP Mamiyatiwa Adudankwa, and her entourage started their tour of the Bono East region with courtesy call on the Bono East Regional Minister, Mr. Kwesi Ejujan. Next, the team was at the residence of the paramount chief of the Techiman traditional area, Osiadeyo Ekumfiameyao. Speaking with GBC News on the sidelines of the visit, Osiadeyo Ekumfiameyao described the visit as historic. He lauded the leadership of Iyoko for upgrading the office of Iyoko in the region from a desk status to a regional status. He appealed to Iyoko to help address the high level of organized crimes in the financial markets in the region and the country at large.
DKM started off as a microfinance institution, but somewhere along the line veered off its objectives and then became a Ponzi scheme. When things of this happens, people tend to lose interest in the banking system, and now the telcos, what they have also brought into the fintechs, they are all there to help us, but if these nefarious activities are not nipped in the bud, At the end of the day, the digitization agenda by the government will not see the light of the day.
The executive director of IYOCO, COP Mamiya Tiwa-Dudanka, was worried at the rate at which a number of young people were being lured into cybercrime, making them become addicted at the peril of their lives.
We need to work seriously hard to just divert the minds of them from those kind of activities to profitable and vulnerable activity that will help them in their future.
The Bono East Regional Minister, Mr. Kwesi Dujan, said his outfit will provide the regional IYOCO office with the needed resources to enable them deal decisively with organized crime-related issues in the region.
There's going to be more logistics, and there's going to be an enhancement of their activities. So that in itself is a plus to us.
The various speakers also appealed to the security agencies in the region to collaborate to stamp out criminal activities in the area.
Still in news, the National Identification Authority says it will open additional registration points for the Ghana card from Monday, February 21, 2022 to Tuesday, March 31, 2022. These registration points will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily from Monday to Friday and will operate alongside NIA's 276 districts and 16 regional offices across the country. The intervention, according to the authority, is in response to growing numbers of Ghanaians thronging its offices to register for the Ghana card as the deadline for the SIM card re-registration approaches. GBC's news team Tema correspondent Michael Donu visited some of the centers and reports.
There's a new office set up for those who are receiving their cards, and also another office which I'll be visiting and showing you pictures where the registration is ongoing. I'm fortunately being joined by the district registration officer, Mr. George.
The authority has put in very good measures to trace cards that were in other offices. We've put in measures to trace them. So now we are running much more efficiently.
So what can you say about the numbers going up? Do we have a lot? Are you serving a lot more people?
We have doubled statistics quite recently because of the new measures the authority has put in place. So now tracing card is very easy. Those that cannot get their card, most come out as a result of data inconsistency and all that. Some people genuinely have issues with their data that they gave to us during registration. So now we have doubled our issuance and all that.
So I'll talk to a few people to find out from them what the situation is, and then we'll compare it with what the district registration officer also told us. We just spoke with the district registration officer, and he says that they've put in some measures to make sure that the process moves faster. You don't think it's moving faster for you?
No, it's not going faster. You know, if I may say, today is my 10th day. Not only today, I think it's my 10th day. Not going faster. You know, when you look at the population here, it's not going at all. When they brought the this thing is 20, less than 20. No, that's not the way it should be. You know, it's going slow. It's not faster.
And so that is the situation that we have here in Tema Community 1.
The Accra Circuit Court 10, presided over by Madam Evelyn Asamoah, has convicted 2 laborers to 50 years in prison. The accused, who are to serve 25 years each, were convicted on offences including conspiracy to commit robbery, attempts to commit robbery, and robbery.
The facts of the cases: the accused persons chartered a Hyundai Get taxi cab, which was driven by the complainant from Circle to Teshi. On reaching a spot near the Lekma Hospital, the accused persons told the driver they had reached their destination and asked to alight. Sunday Bawa, the first accused, was seated at the back, and Musa Ayuba, the second accused person, was seated at the front seat. The first accused pretended to pay for the fare, so the driver turned to take the money when the first accused smeared powdered pepper into the face of the complainant, whilst the second accused forcefully took the ignition key of the vehicle and got down. The complainant managed to get hold of the first accused, and while struggling with him, the accused person's right middle finger entered the complainant's mouth and he bit it. The accused person, sensing danger, bolted with the ignition key and a cash sum of 350 cedis, leaving behind their ex-Innova mobile phone in the complainant's vehicle. The first accused person was arrested in the course of investigations, and he led the police to the arrest of the second accused from his hideout. Musa Yuba, the second accused, also led police to retrieve the ignition key of the Hyundai Getz taxi from his room. Both accused persons admitted the offense in their caution statement and also confessed to being involved in another car theft.
On February 21, 1966, exactly 54 years ago, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah left Ghana for Hanoi, the Democratic Republic of North Vietnam, at the invitation of President Ho Chi Minh to resolve the Vietnam War. Ghana was left under the control of a three-man presidential commission on its entourage, where his Foreign Affairs Minister Alex Kwesi Saki, Trade and Industry Minister Ambassador Kwesi Ama, and among others. Consequently, the CIA-backed coup in Ghana was carried out at the dawn of February 24, 1966, while Dr. Nkrumah was still on a peace mission in Asia. Dr. Nkrumah was told by the Chinese ambassador over there that he has been overthrown.
You're watching News Hour live on GTV and GVC News. The news returns shortly after this break.
Gaba da kawo muku hanyar guda inda za mu kiyaye kanmu da samun malaria shine kwana a cikin insecticide treated nets ko kuwa gidan soro da aka sa mishi magani da ke kashe soraye kowane dare da cikin daren duka. Insecticide treated nets ya kiyaye ka kin samun malaria, shi yasa ka samu insecticide treated nets sanye cikin inuwa kwana biyu sannan kai kwana cikin iya dauda ka wanke da sabulun da bakin shi bai da karfi iya kana ya dunke da allura da igiya ka bi dokokin da gwamnati ya haje domin kiyayewan COVID-19. COVID-19 ciwo ne da ya zo mana, amma malaria yana cikin kashe mutane. Karewan malaria ya fara da ni da kai. Malaria 360 gidan maganganun malaria.
Hey, tell me what? Hey, tell me what? Tell me beer.
They ma worry me. Watch me, you come one week, Mr. Oh, now,
yes. Nade, senior, name me, and you ma cut down my business is a collapse. I'm out of balance.
So, take quick credit, Inga.
Quick credit?
Yes, quick credit. Who pesika? Eddie Astachi, you may be. We here be seeing Eddie Atru Jodium. We are government and a private worker. Who pesika de ati hot so. We are Busumi Juma. Who here Sikadia Bibin Tempe so. Quick credit, Bema loan, and what you are in Kakaka. Now, a little some Cassian said, and you collateral free loaner, Susu, savings, account opening, and a deposit as MBN. Here and say, Ghana card. 2022 year, 1 year Juma, now 1 hour young. Who need excuse here? Quick credit to 03022 00390 and 05969 20833. But in a quick credit, take us on.
Fresh gives you a moment of pure freshness every day. A creamy, rich leather soap with great fragrances. Fresh, a unique smooth feeling. Fresh, your moment of escape. Dream, your dreams come true.
Let us tell you the truth, it's not the magic that make a dream come true. It makes you achieve, but it's your hard work and your persistence. That's the way you will succeed. Dream the big goal, get up and do the roll. Let us see you roll, but it's a long way to go. Whoa, Vitamin will help you walk that extra mile. If you don't have enough energy when you find yourself lost in. Let us be a friend.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, tell me what? Hey, tell me what? Tell me, beer.
They ma worry me. Watch me, you come 1 week, Mr. Oh, now,
yes. Nade.
Senior, name me a new cut down. My business is a collapse. I'm out of balance.
So, we take quick credit in Ghana.
Quick credit?
Yes, quick credit. Who pesika? Edi a start here, you may be. Who here be seen? Edi a true UDM. We a government and a private worker. Who pesika dia till hot so. We here busumi ejuma. Who here sika dia bibin temper so. Quick credit be ma loan. Em what you an kakra. Na eni just some kese ani say. E collateral free loaner, susu, savings, account opening, and a deposit as MBA. Ye here ani say. Who Ghana card 2022 there. 1 year juma. Na wa na wa yo. Need excuse here. Quick credit to 03022 00390 and 05969 20833. Besina quick credit take us off.
There are many ways to get around, but there's only one way to pay. Momo?
Sure.
So many styles to choose, but there's only one sure way to pay.
Momo?
Yes. There's so many you can buy, but there's only one sure way to pay.
Momo?
Yes. Fish that will share my enemy.
There's so much variety, but there's only one sure way to pay. There's so many ways to get together, but there's only one sure way to pay. Got a payment to make? Use MTN Momo and enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions. Live life the brighter way with MTN Momo. Just Momo it.
Good evening. Welcome to Business, brought to you by Quick Credit. My name is Morris Ogbutena. Guta President Dr. Joseph Obeng has told GBC News policies are currently being formulated by the Inter-Ministerial Task Force on Trade to give special dispensation to Nigerians who qualify to trade in Ghana's retail space. This step, including several others, account for what seems to be an improved relationship among Ghanaian and Nigerian retailers in the country.
Last year, some Ghanaian traders locked up shops in Ghana owned by Nigerians in a bid to get them to comply with the GIPC laws that prohibits foreigners from engaging in retail trade in the country. Some foreign nationals continue to operate in Ghana's retail sector in breach of the law. This development has over the years led to some scuffles between Ghanaian retailers and their foreign counterparts in some parts of the country, especially in Accra. The Ministry of Trade and Industry has set up a new joint task force comprising the leadership of Guta and NUTAG to help resolve the issue following the failure of an initial task force to do so. The Ministry of Trade and Industry also asked Guta members to refrain from locking up shops belonging to foreigners as the issues were being addressed through dialogue. In an interview with GBC News, the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, said currently cool heads are prevailing as the Inter-Ministerial Task Force on Trade is formulating policies to remove non-compliant Nigerian retailers from the Ghanaian retail sector.
The President assured us that they are going to work on the whole situation and then give concession or special dispensation for some foreigners in the West African sub-region. And so that dispensation is what they are working on. They are demanding documents from these foreigners. So those who qualify will be allowed to do their trade, and those who do not qualify will be flushed out of the market. And then that exercise is going on by the Interministerial Task Force that has been set for trading. And they are very much on it, and very soon they will clear those who have qualified for the special dispensation for them to apply their trade where those who do not qualify will be flushed out of the system.
The trade war between Ghana and Nigeria has led to the destruction of investment and merchandise running into millions of dollars.
We go to the interbank Forex Market, where the dollar is trading at 6 cedis 42 pesos, and the pound sterling going for 8 cedis 74 pesos. The euro is going for 7 Ghana cedis.
All SIM cards in Ghana must be registered again with only the Ghana card. Yes, only the Ghana card.
You will not be able to make voice calls, use mobile money services, internet, and all other services linked to your SIM card if you don't.
To register, dial *404# and follow the prompts. You will be required to send the following details on your Ghana card: Ghana card number, surname, first name, date of birth, and sex.
You will then receive a special code which you will present to your nearest service provider agent or customer care center for your biometric details to be captured. Remember to add your digital address.
Dial *404# on your phone to start registering your SIM card today.
For more information, contact your service provider on 100 or the National Communications Authority on toll-free number 0800 110622. Register your SIM card to stay connected.
Good evening, you welcome to the energy segment. My name is Mabel Anang. Energy analyst Mr. Kojo has lauded the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation (GNPC) for engaging stakeholders in the decommissioning of the salt pond oil field. He said the exercise is long overdue and entreated GNPC to also engage civil society organizations to tap into their expertise for the decommissioning of the field.
The Salt Pond oil field was the first oil-producing field in the country and is located about 65 miles west of Accra and operated by the Salt Pond Offshore Producing Company Limited. The oil field, which is no longer profitable, has been abandoned for years. GNPC initiated the process to decommission it, but was not implemented. Stakeholders have been calling on government to begin the decommissioning of the field for some time now, as they believe it is gradually becoming a death trap. The rig and the entire facility at the field are said to be in very bad state. GNPC recently started engaging stakeholders in the central region on the decommissioning exercise. Speaking to GBC News, an energy analyst, Kojo urged GNPC to also engage the expertise of CSOs.
It's essential that the people in the area are engaged. It's a good thing that finally we're going to get a closure in the decommissioning of the rig. It has been there for so many years and it's become a death trap. Now that engagement is ongoing, what we would wish GNPC also do is to engage some of the civil society organizations like Institute for Energy Research and Policy, which is my institute, that we have been at the forefront of advocating for the decommissioning. And at the appropriate time, when we have more information, we'll be able to speak to it.
The Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, the committee which has oversight responsibility on the prudent use of oil revenues, has over the years called for the immediate shutdown of the field.
Now, the Public Utility Regulatory Authority has confirmed the approval for the increase of the non-tariff service charges introduced by the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. The PULC says the last increase was in 2013, and the rise in import charges has led to the 50% review of the non-tariff service charges. The Public Relations Officer of the PULC, Mr. Bawa Mukaila, spoke to GBC News. Now, charges for electricity supply services have been increased by over 100%. The Minority Caucus in Parliament last week expressed concern about the hike in the charges and called on government to stop Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, to stop the new charges since there was no consultation in arriving at the new charges. Speaking with GBC News, Public Relations Officer of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PULC, said the rates are non-tariff service charges. Mr. Mukaila confirmed that PULC approved the charges, adding that the cost to customers is only 50% for upgrade services. The energy segment, my name is Mabel Anang. The health segment is brought to you by Lufat from Tobinco. 15 health
professionals from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission's health facilities are being trained under a 2-day continuous skills transfer program from consultant specialists from the USA. It is to upgrade their skills and expose them to new technologies in the efforts to keep up with the government's agenda of delivering quality healthcare. Humanity First is a non-profit organization of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and for several years has undertaken various humanitarian projects in deprived communities of the country to make life better for the people. Key initiatives of Humanity First include its yearly medical outreach to Ghana by a team of medical volunteers to Ghana through the collaboration with Humanity Ghana. This year, the focus is on regional anesthesia, where a team of 10 specialists in the various fields from the USA are in the country to share knowledge and transfer skills to the participants on modern trends and technology in the field of anesthesiology. The team lead is Dr. Faizan Abdullah.
These are highly trained people who have a lot of skills, so we are taking advantage of their skill to transfer the aspect of it that our doctors need.
The medical director of Humanity First Ghana, Dr. Majid Al-Hassan, said a medical outreach is to help bridge the skills gap with respect to new technology in the medical field. He said the program, since its inception, has greatly impacted healthcare delivery as it complements government efforts in that sector.
These techniques are really exciting for us to partner with the physicians who are here to help support them, advance their knowledge, to provide these kinds of latest cutting-edge techniques to the people of Ghana.
The team also donated various medical consumables, an ultrasound machine, among others, worth $60,000 to the Ahmadiyya Mission Hospital at Dabuase. The medical director of the hospital, Dr. Farida Iduse Wilson, said in spite of the numerous support the hospital receives from Humanity First, it is still confronted with some challenges as a district hospital, including inadequate doctors and non-payment of bills by clients.
Our biggest challenge has to do with availability of blood. Most cases that, especially the obstetric emergencies that comes in, cases that will need blood. We have ruptured uterus and postpartum hemorrhage or severe anemia cases in pregnancy that will need blood. Availability of blood in the Wasa East district is a huge problem.
Over the period, Humanity First has provided potable water, disaster relief, orphan care, and the provision of medical equipment. The health segment was brought to you by Lufat from Tobinco.